moving on to the last one. This is one that I kind of came up with on the fly because the Nintendo Switch has got a fair bit of hate since all this stuff came out. So a lot of it justified. Lack of games, lack of third-party support.
Right. Yep.
Third-party support, again, is just ports of old games. The online and all this stuff. What I want to talk specifically about is that are people overreacting to the lack of info we have on the system and the poor messaging that Nintendo has delivered on the Switch?
Oof. That's a tough one because they have like a good stance to be on to complain that they don't know anything about the system really, other than they can play these random couple of games and we don't know the power of it. We don't know a whole lot about it. So there is a stance there that I understand. But then again, I guess, are there some people that are going overboard? Yeah, you're going to have that. So I do feel that there are some people that are overreacting, but I also see a point where there is a reason to be upset. Because we don't know anything.
So I look at this. The reason I came up with this topic is because, if you remember last week when we were our final topic, we talked about things that we're worried about with the Switch, and one thing we blasted them for is their online. Just openly blast. As I was going back through editing it, I'm like, hey, we blasted the heck out of it. Something came out this week that made me rethink, and made me think maybe we overreacted because of what we don't know. And there was a thing that came out, I think it was on Nintendo of Europe's site, about some specs for the system. And somewhere in that spec sheet, in all these diagrams, is something that says like the headphone microphone jack on the Switch unit supports like headsets and microphones, which makes you think that means there's going to be voice chat native on the system. And that's something we blasted Nintendo for, mostly thanks to Reggie Fils-Aimé kind of openly stating that this is the only way to kind of do it, is through the phone app. And that made me realize that maybe we were blasting them without having all the info, without having the details. And maybe we even overreacted a little bit to, man, through the app, well, if it ends up just being the extra, then okay. And we know that this thing we do know for sure, because that's just something that says in the spec sheet. Whether or not that means anything, we don't know. But it does say for sure in the spec sheet we can manage our friends list on the Switch.
Okay.
So that was something we thought could only be done through the app. Now we know it can be done on the Switch.
Okay.
Very highly possible. Like it's starting to sound a little better.
Okay.
So I part of me feels bad. I mean, we can only react to the info we have, right? So I'm not going to apologize for how we reacted. But it did make me think that maybe we're overreacting. Maybe everyone's overreacting. It's negative right now because of what they don't know. Like people blast it. It's $300 and it's basically a Wii U. We don't know what the specs are.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
We don't know. We're not. Nintendo's probably never going to tell us. But it's definitely the most powerful handheld gaming machine that's ever existed. So it has got that going for it. But we really don't know. Like it's easy to presume you can blast it, but we don't know. And I think some of this. That's why I brought the poor messaging part. Is the negative reactions like we have had due to the lack of information. All stems from the poor messaging. Because when they unveiled it back in October, oh man, it looked like this is a game changer. And this is a game changer aimed at adults. The system looks like a high-tech piece of machine you want to own. The price tag it has right now is like a high-tech machine you want to own.
Right.
All these extra features like the IR sensor, HD rumble, like all this stuff adds value that people don't care about, but on a high-tech device, you might make differences that we're not just not aware of yet. Because we haven't played it. We haven't played 1-2 Switch. We have no idea, how it'll be applied beyond that game. But the event in January on the 12th, it kind of didn't click. You had people come on stage to announce games without showing them. You had people come on stage just to say, we look forward to supporting Nintendo in the future. You had a guy that was clearly either from Nintendo of Europe or Nintendo of Europe, either from EA in Europe or EA in the United States, up there talking in English to a Japanese audience when everyone else was talking in Japanese with English subtitles. Talking about a game that no one in the Japanese audience cares about because it's not popular in Japan. there's all these different facets going on that it just made for a really weird show. And you started off by showing off things that looked like it applied more so to the Wii audience than the audience you were trying to go after in October. And obviously, people's reactions flipped a little bit once the media got their hands on it, because overall reaction, I think, from media has been pretty positive. For media who have played it, have been pretty positive. That doesn't mean they don't have concerns. That doesn't mean they don't think charging for online is crap, especially based on how Nintendo's stated it. But that's the thing. If things like friends lists are able to be managed on the Switch, if you can do voice chat on your Switch, these are things that go into the poor messaging, because you announce something new without confirming it can do what everyone else can do.
Right.
So, like, if they had just come out and said, you can voice chat natively on the Switch and manage your friends list. Oh, by the way, we also have an app that lets you do it for when you're on the go, when you might not have an internet connection or a stable enough one to do voice chat. Like you can come up with the reason this app should exist while saying it could all be done on the Switch, if it can be done on the Switch. And this seems to suggest some of these things that people thought couldn't be done on the Switch can be. So I think we have overreacted. I think, in general, the general public has overreacted to what essentially is Nintendo's own fault for bad messaging.
Right. And I think of a lot of it goes back, again, like you said, to Nintendo, where Nintendo's, in a way, not... Again, one of the things that we brought up last week was Nintendo's not learning from its mistakes.
Yeah.
It keeps repeating this, let's just keep everybody in the dark, or we'll tell them something that's... Maybe it gets lost in translation. I don't know, but something comes out that just seems a little off, and it ends up being what we actually expected.
Yeah, like in October, nailed it. The name, some people were iffy on, don't know if they like it, but they understand it. And that was the big thing to come off Wii U. So it's like, okay, so they learned from Wii U. The name of the system has to make sense. Just on its own. It does. Okay, so it feels like, okay, so they learned about their naming mistakes. They learned, October felt like they learned about their marketing mistakes. Yeah, they're waiting and waiting and waiting to show off the system until, closer to launch. But when they did finally show it, damn good marketing. And then you hit the event that actually gives you the finer details, and you're like,
yeah, right.
Hit the media events. One of the negatives out of it is that Mario's not playable, despite the fact that the guy who's making it said the game's almost done. So, like, it's obviously able to have a demo, but it's not there.
No.
It will be. They did confirm there will be demos of it at E3, but of course it's coming out this holiday. Everyone knew there was going to be a demo at E3 from Super Mario Odyssey. Like, that's not news.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, Nintendo might have thought, oh, this is big news for us to tell everyone, but it's not.
No,
because everyone knows.
Yeah.
Like, the news will be, it's not going to be at E3.
Yeah, right.
Just like the news would be, Breath of the Wild is the only thing you're going to have at E3. Like, something unexpected.
Right.
Don't just say the expected. So I think every time Nintendo seems to take a leap forward, they start chipping away at that leap to fall back.
Yep.
And the announcing of the phone app without confirming that there's any other way to do any of the features that phone app has, even if voice chat isn't one of them that is exclusive to the phone app, you could at least say, well, yeah, but you can still manage your friend list. You can still look at your friends that are online. You can still message them on the pad or whatever. Like at least if these features exist, or even if they're not going to be there at launch, because this app's not going to be there at launch. The app doesn't release till summer.
Right.
As a trial, and it's only going to be partially, and then the full app will be out, when you pay for it in the fall.
Right.
It's bad messaging and a bad look.
Right.
That everyone thought Nintendo was done with doing this kind of stuff. And Nintendo's going to Nintendo. The Switch itself is a very Nintendo-like concept in the first place. Keeping advancing Rumble in a time when everyone thinks Rumble doesn't need to advance.
Right.
Advancing motion controls in a time that everyone doesn't think motion controls need to advance. Creating a hybrid when people are like, well, yeah, but everyone's got their phones now. They don't need a hybrid. Yeah. So, like, doing these things are good ideas that sound weird and have to be presented correctly. I don't mind that there's HD Rumble. I don't mind that there's IR sensors and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But the messaging behind them kicking off your stuff with it was bad.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like, so you're making a Wii 2.
Yeah. To me, it almost feels like they took a bunch of features that they had, listed it out, cut that list up, threw the shards of paper up in the air, and just started randomly picking up and, okay, this is what we have. Okay, this day we're going to pick this one up. Oh, okay, it happens to be this feature.
Yeah.
And then, oh, look, this feature.
No flow.
Yeah. And then it's the, oh, look, we have an app. But maybe 2 days from now, oh, we can actually support, online here. It's like there's no logical explanation of the way they're coming out with their features.
Yeah. So, in short, I think we've overreacted, but I don't think it's our fault. And I don't think it's the fault of anyone else who's overreacted. Like, Jim Sterling has blasted it. Colin Moriarty has blasted it, even though he still plans to get it at launch. There's a lot of people out there that have talked negatively about the system based on what Nintendo has told us. It's not based on anything else. Some of it is based on assumptions. Like, we assume there isn't going to be more major third-party support. We don't actually know. But the thing is, if the caveat is that there is more major third-party support, why do we not know about it?
Right.
Because Nintendo put themselves in the position they have to prove it. Like, Reggie Fils-Aimé was recently on an episode of Deadlock with Matt Pat from Game Theory. And he was defending Nintendo's ability to make home consoles because Matt Pat was arguing, here's all the reasons that you should go third party, basically. And Reggie was arguing, well, no, it basically was a PR stunt for Reggie to pump up the Switch.
Yep.
But one of the points brought up was third party support, and he's like, oh, well, we for the first time ever we have Bethesda on our console. I'm like, yeah, well, they're releasing a game from 5 years ago.
Yeah, right.
It's like for every time you have that little positive, but there's a negative.
Yeah.
Because
there's always a small.
There's we have Rockstar on board, but we don't know what they're doing. Yep. It's like you could say you have all these third party support, but Nintendo, you've said this before, and it never panned out. Right. So it's like you're in this prove mode where you can't just say that stuff again. Now, granted, they could say the stuff, it ends up panning out, and then whatever, they ended up looking good, but. The thing is, they're doing it in the exact same way they did it before. Yeah. Where now they should be like, look, if Madden's going to be there next year, have them say it.
Yeah, right.
The EA guy was out there saying, we're bringing all of our sports titles.
Yeah, right.
And then just throw up all the logos.
Yep. Yeah.
Or like don't just say FIFA. Say everything. If everything's going to be there, say it.
Yeah.
If golf is going to be there, say it. I understand for some games that maybe aren't announced yet, you're not going to do that. Like third parties are going to wait till E3 or whatever to announce games.
Yeah.
But if you know games like if you know Activision is releasing, because Activision was apparently one of the partners that helped them early on, help design the Switch. If Activision is bringing the next Call of Duty, how hard is it to have someone come out there and say, hey, we're going to have the next Call of Duty? You don't have to announce what the Call of Duty game is. Right. Everyone knows Call of Duty comes out every year.
Yep.
If Ubisoft's bringing the next Assassin's Creed, well, they've already been teasing it. So why not just have Ubisoft announce, hey, we're bringing Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Like, this thing, if these games are going to be there was no reason to really not say they're, not confirm that they're going to be there. You can't just put the publisher on a list and make everyone try to figure it out from there.
Right.
Because Ubisoft is there. Yeah, and the only game we know from them is Rayman Legends being ported over.
Yeah.
Fantastic game, but it's a port of an old game.
Yeah.
It's kind of a pattern. Like, this is what happened with the Wii U. We want to see the new stuff, and we want to see it the same day everyone else gets it. Watch Dogs, yeah, it's great. It came to Wii U like almost a year after Watch Dogs came out.
Yep.
It's just, we want to see that you can keep telling us things are different, but you had an unprecedented partnership with EA for Wii U. Didn't pan out. Yeah. So there's a lot of messaging here that feels like what they've done before. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it's not what they've done before, but it feels like it. So, again, maybe I'm overreacting, but again, I'm overreacting because of the lack of info. We do not know.
Yeah.
And sometimes not knowing is bad, but we're at the point now, this thing comes out, 5 weeks, we should know.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, these questions should be answered. Maybe not all of them, maybe not all the full list of games, but as I just gave you an example, these are games we already know exist and could easily be announced if they were going to be coming to the system.
Right.
They maybe have the excuse that they want to just get the pre-buys, or like people like us getting a day one for Zelda or something, and then wait 2 months and then hit us big at E3 with a whole bunch of stuff, which if they don't release any more info until E3, they better be hitting us with a bunch of stuff at E3.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like we're kind of in this prove-it mode, and Nintendo's kind of like, you just got to trust us. It's going to be great.
Yeah, but they also put themselves in the prove-it mode.
That's what I'm saying. Area. It's their fault for being in the prove-it mode, and it's not our fault for being skeptical when they just say, believe us.
Yeah.
And like Reggie, I want to believe you that the third parties are there, but you can't just talk about old games by saying third parties are there. So we'll see. Again, I don't think we're overreacting per se because we can only react to the info we have, but I do think poor messaging has led to us wanting to react this way. Because I think if they had approached it differently, like if they didn't throw up a giant list, these are all the people developing games for us, and then just announce a bunch of ports.
Yeah.
I think we might be in better. Or if they didn't just throw up a list, oh, Bethesda for the first time supporting us, don't make a big deal out of that until you have a game from them that's current.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, yeah, you got Skyrim ported, Skyrim on the go, it's a big deal. Do a promotion, around the time that game's coming out, but don't really tout, oh, we have Bethesda now, until you see a commitment from Bethesda for the next game.
Right.
And not just getting it day one. So, again, we still have issues. We're still excited for it. I still think Nintendo is all at fault for all the reactions out there, and I do think a lot of the reactions now are proving that maybe a little bit overreacting. But again, it's not our fault.
Yeah, right.
Nintendo had put themselves in the position to get these reactions. But on the bright side, there has been plenty of, I don't know if I want to call them fanboys, because I don't want to, if they feel like that's an insulting term, I don't want to feel like I'm insulting them.
Yeah.
But you have, like, because I call myself a fanboy at times, but obviously I'm not afraid to be critical.
Yeah.
Like Josh Thomas from the BitBlock or Kevin from Go Nintendo, they put up a bunch of rebuttal videos, and there's plenty of people defending Nintendo and their decisions. But I think it's one of those that I can't defend them entirely until we know what the full picture is.
Right.
Like, I want to defend them for their phone app, but I can't do it if we don't know what the full picture is.
Right.
And as much as I think the app's a silly idea, maybe I end up loving it. I have no idea. So, like, I can't defend them because I don't know the full picture. None of us do.
Right.
So, yeah. Like, I saw someone... Like one of Josh Thomas' points when he was defending Nintendo, because he defended it against, but there's no third-party games. And then he went on this long rant about why that doesn't matter. It's like, it matters. The one reason he didn't bring up on why it matters, and the primary reason, is because, yes, people who own a PlayStation 4 and Xbox already, like, who cares? They get all those games. Like, I own an Xbox One, so this is a big deal if I don't get all the third-party games on, I don't get Madden, whatever, I'm going to get it for Xbox One.
Yeah.
But what he's not thinking about are people that they don't want multiple devices. That's the thing. Like, they're forced into they have to have an Xbox and PlayStation 4 because they each have exclusive games.
Right.
They have to have a PC because it's got exclusive games. They have to have a Nintendo system, exclusive games. So if you could, like, say, I don't own an Xbox for the exclusive games. I own it for multi-plat. So if I can get all those same multi-plat on Switch, I don't have a reason to own an Xbox anymore. I can go sell it. I don't want to have multiple devices.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'd probably keep that one because it's got 4K Blu-ray playing ability, but I wouldn't use it for gaming anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a point that's being missed, and I just think the criticism is fair. Don't defend it until we know we can defend it.
Right.
Okay. Because there's always gonna be situations you're not thinking of, as I just brought up, people who don't want to have multiple devices. Yep. Like, they might. It doesn't mean they want to. I don't want to own a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, and a Wii U.
Yeah.
And now Nintendo Switch. I don't want to have to own all that stuff.
Right.
And a 3DS. Like, I would rather prefer everything's in one, and that's the enticing thing about Switch, is that it's a home console and handheld, so I can get my home console gaming and my handheld gaming, and everything can be in one. And if it gets all the third-party games, then all you need to buy an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4 for are a little bit prettier looking with 4K, and then, exclusives.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
then
Switch could be all Nintendo games, all third-party games, all handheld games, everything, one package.
Right.
And that means that you have to want The Last Guardian, Uncharted 4, Bloodborne, those kind of games enough to want to get like a PlayStation 4. And maybe you do, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong. They're fantastic games. But that's the same reason you would buy a Nintendo. Oh, you want that Mario, you want that Zelda, you want that Pikmin, you want Splatoon 2. Like, Nintendo has the same argument, but they're not playing. But now they're playing on the same field by having the same games, and then they can also, Nintendo's going to do it, tout, by the way, we take our games on the go. You can't.
Yeah, right.
And that's a pretty nice argument to make.
Oh yeah.
So let's hope. Let's just don't speak on what we don't know of yet, but perfectly fine to be skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly fine to even be negative, not trusting Nintendo, because the messaging sounds a lot like what they've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a list of developers. Nothing exciting comes of it. thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. We're a little sad because in the background we had the Bucks game playing and they lost again in overtime for like 6 games in a row or something. Not in a row because they just beat like Rockets a few games back. But, oh man, they're sinking fast.
Yeah.
You could check us out at NintendoPrime.net. Email me at Nathan@NintendoPrime.net. Follow me on Twitter at NateJance, or you can follow Nintendo Prime. I run that. It's Ninty Prime. You can also find us on Facebook, Nintendo Prime. All one word, camel case style on Facebook. I might split it up one day. I don't know why I made it camel case. I wasn't thinking at the time. I made it the page in the middle of the night.
You're probably after programming of some sort.
This is Eric Moore. If you have any questions specific for him, he doesn't have like a site-related email and stuff yet. You can just send them to my email, and I'll make sure he gets them. In the future, because we're making some changes at Nintendo Prime over the next upcoming 3 to 6 months here, he'll be probably doing a lot more extra work at the site beyond the podcast. So he probably will eventually get a site email, and then we'll be able to it'll end up being like Eric at NintendoPrime.net or something, just so he has a way, a media contact. So like if we're going to go to an event, he can use an official email and stuff. But or if you guys just have a question for him and you want to trash on me, fine. He does it to me enough behind the scenes. So thanks for tuning in for episode 14 of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. We'll catch you again. And you know what? But before we go off, I just want to look this up because one of these episodes, we're going to be recording. This is going to be really crazy because the system comes out on March 3rd, and we're going to be recording like on March 2nd, before we go pick up the system. Because we basically record Thursday nights. So like it'll be record and then leave.
Yeah, right.
And go pick up the Switch.
Yeah, right.
So it's gonna be really weird because we're the week of the Switch coming out. We're just not really all we're gonna talk about our excitement.
Yeah, right.
We might have to come up with some alternatives. It's gonna be weird. It might be the week we have a podcast where we just don't talk about the Switch because we know we're gonna have a lot more to say about it a week later.
Right.
But we'll see. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll end up having a review version of the Switch. That would be nice. Pulling my strings here. Milking that cow. Yeah. Milking that cow. Yep. Remember, like this. Feel it.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait to milk against you.
Yeah. Right.
Who's going to win that milking contest?
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one, folks.